Fortounis is back. Yaremchuk might have just reminded everyone who he is. Rodinei looks like a man on a mission. But even in a 2-1 comeback win in the first friendly of pre-season, Olympiacos showed one big problem that still needs solving before the real football begins. And today we're talking first impressions, first look, Olympiacos 2026-27 season. Olympiacos is back, ladies and gentlemen. The first week of pre-season is coming to an end. Signings are starting to come in, more and more on the way. Jota Silva was announced today after the arrivals of goalkeeper Stournaras, Zinedine Smilovic, Pablo Maffeo, and of course, the returns of David Carmo and captain Kostas Fortounis. And yesterday, Olympiacos played the first friendly of pre-season against Raków in Holland. I was there with the amazing Olympiacos fans traveling from all over Europe. Even though it was only friendly, when Fortounis put that free kick into the top corner, you would not have known it. Flares went off, the crowd went crazy, the stewards were not impressed, the local stewards, but the excitement couldn't be controlled. Before we get into it, welcome back to Thrylos International, your number one international source for Olympiacos fans around the world. This is by the fans, for the fans. If you're Olympiacos, wherever you are in the world, this is your channel. So hit the like button, give this video some early hype clicks, subscribe because we're going to be covering preseason transfers, deep dive scout reports on new players. We're going to be covering the qualifiers, everything around Olympiacos all summer long, football, basketball, you name it, the whole works. So let's get into it. Yesterday, final score, Raków 1, Olympiacos 2. Olympiacos went 1-0 down in the second half before Kostas Fortounis stepped up in the 85th minute and delivered one of those signature Fortounis free kicks. Short run up, top corner, roof of the net, absolute banger. And then in stoppage time, Andre Luiz switches the ball from the left. Masouras gets involved in the box. The ball comes out to Fortounis. He whips it in, and Yaremchuk does what Yaremchuk does. He towers above the defenders and gets the effort on frame, follows up with a rebound and completes the comeback. Signed, sealed, delivered. Yes, it's a friendly. Yes, we cannot get carried away, but a win's a win. It's important for morale, for rhythm, and especially for players like Yaremchuk that need the confidence. It matters a lot. But let's be clear. You can't draw firm conclusions from the first preseason friendly. It's a match, first match after a week of training. There are over 30 players in the squad right now. That's a lot for Mendilibar to deal with. Ideally, Mendy wants 2 proper starting 11s, competition for places, 3 goalkeepers. So that's around 25, 26 players in total. That means cuts are coming after the first phase of pre-season, which ends on Saturday with the friendly against Leuven. Some players are fighting for a place. Some are being tested. Some are probably being shown to the market. And yesterday's starting 11 is not a lineup we are ever going to see in an official match. Stournaras in goal, Maffeo on the right, Bruno on Yaremchuk on the left, Koutsidis next to Pirola, and in midfield, Scipioni and Mouzakitis with Chiquinho in front, and Rodinei on the right, Gelson on the left, and Clayton up front. So what do we actually keep from the first half? First name, Rodinei. Last year, he was criticised for returning overweight after winning the double. This time, different story. Everything good Olympiacos did in the first half came down the right-hand side. Rodinei driving forward, asking for the ball, running in transition, carrying the team up the pitch, bringing energy, personality. And remember, by the end of last season, Rodinei transitioned into a right wing option, not right back, right wing. And those were also words from Coach Mendilibar himself. That's important because at right back right now, we have Maffeo, new signing, and the young 17-year-old Giorgos Siozios as a backup option. So how Mendy uses Rodinei this season is going to be very interesting. And let's see if right back is an area where we do decide to bring somebody in. But from what we saw in Holland, Rodinei looks lean, he looks sharp, he looks fired up and ready to prove a point. The fans showed him a lot of love, as always, and you could see he was feeding off that. The other big talking point from the first half was Clayton. He was involved, he worked hard, he got into the box, he had chances, but he just does not look comfortable in this Olympiacos style of play. I don't want to destroy the player. You can't fault him for effort, but watching him, it just feels like a signing that does not really serve a purpose in this squad. And to be honest, with Miguel Cardoso coming in as general director, maybe this is one of the cases where his Portuguese connections can help. Clayton, I presume he still has a good name in Portugal from his Rio Ave days. Maybe there is a solution there with the help of Cardoso. On Maffeo, a new signing at right back, honestly, not much to say yet. He didn't have a huge amount of action. Bruno actually had more going on down the left side. And one thing I did notice, Maffeo may not look physically massive, but he's got a good leap and he competes well in the air. But we need to see more. It's still early days. Scipioni, I thought, was encouraging in midfield. He had one big moment where he intercepted, made a good steal in midfield, played a 1-2 with Rodinei, arrived outside the box, played a 1-2, and he struck the ball cleanly, but it hit the crossbar on the first time shot. And those are the kinds of actions, or one of the actions from the first half that I remember, and he was involved in that. It's a player that I still have faith in. He needs minutes, though. He needs confidence. He needs to show that he can survive in the intensity of a Mendilibar midfield. His partner, Mouzakitis, he started where he left off last season. And for those of you that watched the show, you know I'm a fan. I say he started off last season. He started off from where he left off last season because he covered spaces. He helped the team circulate the ball. A lot of lateral passing, a few moments where he did play the ball vertical into the attackers. But I want more. And I say that because he has ability. I expect more. I want to see Mouzakitis take more initiative. I want to see him boss the game. I want to see him more aggressive, demand the ball, break the lines, play those incision passes that he can play, not just be safe. I want him to impose himself, because generally, and this is still one of the big concerns for Olympiacos, midfield leadership. We're missing a general. Hez is probably the closest thing that we have right now. And I love what he brings in terms of his intensity, the ability to press. But he has his limitations, especially in the offensive part of the game. And a lot of people are talking about transfers in different positions, and rightly so. But for me, this midfield still needs somebody who raises the level of everyone around him. I don't know if that's Amrabat. Brozovic is being touted recently, but this is clearly an area where we need improvement in the heart of midfield, really in that central position. If you agree that Olympiacos still need a proper midfield leader, hit the like button now, because this is going to be one of the biggest stories of the summer. First half ended 0-0, then came the changes. Chobanidis, new signing from Panseriakos, coming on in goal. Siozio's lining up in defense with Retsos and Carmo and Ortega. And in midfield, Theofanis Bakoulas returned after his ACL injury. Welcome back to him. Christos Philis got the whole second half, another academy product, alongside Santi Hesse, and Yaremchuk, Roman the Tank Yaremchuk, led the line with Fortounis and Andre Luis supporting. Masouras also came on for a cameo. Smilovic got a few minutes at the end, around the 87th minute, because the Retsos had to go off with a knock. Honestly, second half, not a lot to write home about, ladies and gents, until the 85th minute. Olympiacos are 1-0 down at this point, and we get a free kick outside the box. Kostas Fortounis stands over the ball, and you know that feeling. And even before he takes it, you think, this is Fortounis. Short run up, perfect strike, top bin, and it's 1-1. And the crowd literally went wild. And yes, I know it's preseason, I know it's a friendly, but this is Fortounis. He's the club captain, and it's gone a bit under the radar. He's back in red and white, and he's back doing Fortounis things. And 8 minutes later, He's involved again. He gets the ball out wide on the left. He whips it into the box. Yaremchuk attacks it, and the first effort comes back, and Yaremchuk finishes 2-1 Olympiacos. And that's exactly why football is emotional, because on paper it's a friendly. In reality, you see Fortounis score that goal in front of Olympiacos fans, and you know it's a comeback win. You feel something. You could see like even the staff, happy to get that second goal and end that game on a winning note. So that's important. I want to talk about Yaremchuk because I think he was hard done by last season. Taremi came in late in the summer window, as we remember. No doubt the guy's class. He brought quality. He scored goals. He contributed. He delivered double-digit goal contributions, as many of us expected. But suddenly, Yaremchuk became the third wheel behind El-Kaabi, Taremi. And the thing is, Yaremchuk's a confidence player. He finished the centenary season on a high. He had that massive second half of the season, starting with that goal in the cup against Panathinaikos, culminating in the Greek Cup final. Even his goals in the Europa League, he helped us win trophies that season. And then his confidence took a knock. The manager decided it was best for him to go on loan in January. He joined Lyon. He had a rough start over there, but ended up as their number one striker. Now he's back, and what I like is that he was actually on international duty. So normally he wasn't expected to join preseason from the very beginning. It was his decision to start early. And that tells you something about his work ethic, his motivation, his desire to show that he does not just deserve a place in the squad, but he deserves a serious role. Do I know if Yaremchuk is still going to be an Olympiacos player at the end of the season? No, I don't. And that's probably the biggest question this preseason period. If Lyon or another club comes back in with an offer around the level of the option that he had, which was around 5 million, maybe a deal gets done. But right now, I expect Yaremchuk to be a very important option in qualifiers, even if he's going to be our number one going into the qualifiers. The bigger question is really, what if he ends up being decisive? What happens if Olympiacos get into Champions League? What happens if he does score goals, look sharp, forces Mendilibar to rethink the striker hierarchy? I mean, let's be real. El-Kaabi, for me, he's still returning from AFCON. He never returned, in my opinion. Taremi's situation also needs clarity. There's talk that his agent Pastorello might be bringing an offer. Out of the four strikers there, he's the likeliest one to go, in my opinion. I think there's a market for him. He's a known quantity. He scores goals, so I wouldn't be surprised if an offer is brought in, despite what Taremi said in an interview during the World Cup that he's looking forward to coming back again. What else is he going to say? Meanwhile, you may have seen there's also some talk about Giacomakis as a potential option, because we're in dire need of Greek players. So people are worried, including myself, about midfield. I agree, but my real concern this season is striker. There are a lot of, what's the word in English, caraboles, things that could happen before the window closes. One thing has an impact on the other, and we don't quite know what that is going to be. So, keep eyes and ears open there, and don't be surprised if we see a lot of changes up front in the striker positions. And coming towards the end, we've got to talk about Fortounis once more. We missed Yaremchuk, but we also missed Fortounis big time. Last season in particular, he's a player that can make something out of nothing, a player with creativity, flair, even personality on the pitch, the way he expresses himself. He's got an eye for a pass, an eye for goal. And importantly, he's a player who already showed during the Conference League run that he can play in Mendilibar's system, but Fortounis is also naturally a player that thrives outside of the strict confines of any system. That's what makes him special. He sees things others don't. He attempts things others wouldn't attempt. And sometimes in games where Olympiacos looks flat or predictable or too mechanical, that's exactly what you need. And a lot of people have taken the Fortounis return lightly, almost like a sentimental signing. You know, he's come back for retirement, or all of that stuff that you hear in Greece. I don't see it that way. I see this as a real value proposition for the squad. He reminded us, he gave us a reminder of that yesterday. The years in Saudi didn't wash him. If anything, maybe they gave him a new lease of life, returning to his boyhood club. And he is going to be key this season. I can guarantee you that. So, final thoughts. 3 things to keep, 3 things to forget, if you like. 3 things to keep. Number 1, Rodinei looks lean. He looks sharp. He looks hungry, driving the team forwards. Number 2, Fortounis, goal, assist, leadership, emotion. Captain is back. Number 3, Yaremchuk on the score sheet for his confidence, for the striker debate, and for what he could mean for qualifiers to get into Champions League. And 3 things to forget. Number 1, guess. Clayton's missed chances, because they don't matter, but because at this point, I think the bigger question is whether he fits at all. I think he's going to be leaving. Number 2, the lateral passing in the midfield, sometimes too safe, too passive. Olympiacos need more control, a bit more personality in midfield, something I said earlier. And number 3, most of the second half, before Fortounis took over, because honestly, until that free kick, there was not a lot happening. So there you have it. First preseason match, first impressions, first look at Olympiacos 2026-27. It's too early for big conclusions, but it's not too early for some signs. Rodinei looks good. Fortounis looks motivated. Yaremchuk looks like he's got a point to prove. And Olympiacos still look like they need a midfield general. Now, enough from me. I want to hear from you. What's your biggest takeaway from the first friendly? Are you excited about Fortounis' return? Should Yaremchuk stay? Does he have what it takes to be number 1? And what position worries you the most right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to Thrylos 7 International for more Olympiacos preseason coverage. Olympiacos is back, and so are we. See you next time.